I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa!
It is my esteemed pleasure to make this second-round pick on behalf of Ed Policy, Brian Gutekunst, Matt LaFleur, and the millions of Packer fans across the world with the 52nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The Green Bay Packers select Brandon Cisse, defensive back, South Carolina.
And there were only 5 more after that. That's the crazy part of the weekend.
Yeah.
Shout out John Kuhn, teammate here at the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Audio courtesy of ESPN, ABC, NFL Network, and I think the Pat McAfee Show. All of them play the exact same audio.
Yeah. Across 4 different stations, channels, YouTube streams.
Yep. Just tune in wherever it works best for you.
That's right.
Hey, what is up, Wisconsin? Happy Monday. Let's go. Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Man, it was a good weekend. Fun to watch the NFL draft come to a conclusion. Not so fun to watch the Milwaukee Brewers, although they did pick up a W yesterday. So much to cover on this amazing Monday on Inside Wisconsin Sports. So here we go. Let's play catch-up.
Packers.
So before we dive in to what the draft means for the Packers, Brian Gutekunst says, remember, you don't win the Super Bowl with the NFL draft.
Most seasons are determined by the guys that are coming back, not necessarily the guys who are getting to the draft. These guys are just starting their NFL journey, and there's so much in front of them. And I feel really good about all of them, and I think they're going to have, a chance to have an opportunity to be very good players in this league. But, you don't win the Super Bowl during the draft.
That made a lot of sense to me, Josh,
yeah,
because we talked for months now that the Packers seemingly seem to be running it back.
Yes. Yeah.
26% of the roster was gone before the NFL draft. We got 6 guys. And Goody says it's all about the guys coming back. That doesn't mean he's not going to continue to add unrestricted free agents. That doesn't mean that the idea of free agency is lost on him or even trades. We saw that happen. But at the most part, maybe this is a little bit of peek behind the cheddar curtain. Let's be real. The NIL era of college football is affecting the NFL draft.
I mean, the Packers' plan and identity forever has been draft and develop. And so I'm not, I think what Goody said there was spot on, but it was par for the course. He's right. That isn't, if you expected to see a lot of these guys that were picked over the weekend make immediate impacts this coming season, that's not a good thing. That means that the guys that are already there are beat up, injured, and they're having to put in these rookies already to be starters, getting a lot of playing time. The idea is that they're going to develop them and that these are going to become household names in 2027, 2028, not 2026.
And it doesn't mean that Brandon Cisse, specifically at the cornerback position that we drafted with the 52nd overall pick, can't come in and make a splash.
No, of course.
A lot of people thinking that he can. But we're not dependent on that. And especially the offensive line position. Tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, I want to go back, Josh, and look at Brian Gutekunst's presser before the draft and all the notes that we took. And what does he mean by that? Can we believe that to be true? Something toed, right? Like there was a lot that goes on behind the scenes that he doesn't necessarily play his hand. And so it'll be interesting to see, based on what he said about the offensive line, both in that pre-draft press conference and again over the weekend. He's really happy with the offensive line and including the depth that's there. That's why they only drafted One dude, Jager Burton. Other than that, that was it.
That was it.
I was surprised by that.
I was also a little surprised by that.
Nothing beats the surprise category. Like trading 2 picks to move up to get a kicker.
Yeah, that was on everyone's bingo card, right?
No, not even a little bit. So we traded up to get a kicker. Goody, tell me more.
Yeah, I think the kicker spot's very important, right? And we have a couple guys here that we felt good about, but we also wanted to increase that competition and make sure that we come out of this thing with a guy that can go win us games. Brandon's been excellent for us in his time with us, with the exception of in that past game, which I think we all recognize. But I feel it's important that we address that, and have a guy who can go win us games.
Right. How do we feel about this?
So my first thought was, man, I spent a lot of time worrying and talking about the backup quarterback position.
Yeah.
For them to go and get a kicker. That was not my thought. When I heard that, I went, oh, with like our last pick? No. We got rid of the last pick. To do what? To go get the kicker.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Plural. 2 picks. Got rid of those 2 last picks to trade up to draft a kicker.
Me and my buddies were making jokes that they had a tea time. Goody had a tea time. And he was like, nope, let's just wrap this thing up. Trade those last 2 picks. Get the kicker. Let's get out of here.
It was a nice weekend in Northeast Wisconsin. I'll give him that. And per the audio clip from the Packers YouTube channel, Goody knows kickers win games. And the competition needs to be thick, because Brandon McManus didn't exactly show us that he can be that guy to win games. Here's the really weird part. They just paid him on the 3rd day of the 2026 NFL league year $1 million roster bonus. So, okay.
I think that's the toughest part too, is that there's no, we just got done talking about draft picks making an immediate impact. Okay, your kicker is not one of those that's going to be sitting on the bench for 2 years that you're going to draft and develop. If you drafted a kicker, your kicker is probably going to play, right? Like, did we really use a draft pick to bring the guy just to give McManus competition? Doesn't feel that way to me. It feels like unless this guy really blows it in training camp, like they're expecting him to be the kicker going forward.
I also did hear Goody say, though, that there really wasn't any reason for the Packers to draft in the 7th round this year without coming out and saying, listen, we don't have a need for guys at the positions that we think are going to be available on our board in the 7th round. That was interesting, right? And we talked about this leading up to the draft. There's a lot of guys that would have had typically come out of college to enter the NFL draft that aren't anymore. And so whether it's the COVID year or the 6-7 senior that came out of the 2020 era, because they all got that extra year, they're older, they're staying in college, and there just aren't as many available. Specifically, what did Wayne tell us? 18 players in his mind had first-round grades. That was it?
That was it. Yeah.
This is the least amount of draft picks in Packers franchise history. Tied 6. That's it.
Yeah.
Never before.
Yeah, pretty crazy. I mean, it's especially when we talked about depth and the importance of just having bodies for Goody to go, no, we don't need those 7th round picks. 6 is fine. We'll get 6 picks. I also thought it was funny. I don't know if you saw this. Bill Huber, who we had on the show on Friday, asked Goody, how do you scout a kicker? And Goody kind of chuckled and put his hands up in a field goal. It's good signal going like that. That's how you do it. How many times are the refs going, yep, yeah, that's good.
That's good. He actually did go on to explain what that meant. We're going to play that for you later in the show. One more note from the Packers over the weekend, because of course the Packers do a Friday afternoon news dump on NFL draft weekend. Jaden Reed signed a new deal with the Packers, a 3-year extension worth $50.25 million in new money and $20 million guaranteed. That appears to be WR1. Yeah.
Yeah. Or, I mean, at least that was proof of who they decided they were going to keep. I mean, we'll wait and we'll see on Watson and everyone else. But when they got rid of Wicks, when they traded Wicks away, you had to think something was coming, and they decided to put their money and their investment into Reed. I'm okay with it.
Lots more in the NFL draft throughout the show, and we continue playing catch up with the Brewers. With the Brewers. Okay, lost 4 in a row, 2 series in a row now. And on Sunday, they got a win because they actually hit the ball. Here's what it sounded like when Brandon Lockridge had a 2 RBI single to make it 5-0 yesterday.
Broken bat. That's going to get down. A base hit. 2 more runs are going to score. And the Brewers hang a 5 spot on the Pirates in the 4th inning.
You got to figure that's got to be it with Terang walking to the plate. Almost 40 pitches in this inning alone. And the Brewers stacking up their hits 3 in a row, all scoring runs.
Okay, let's put that in perspective for a hot second. 3 hits in a row. I love how Rock on the Brewers TV broadcast, where that audio comes from, says, quote, "We're stacking up the hits."
Yep.
Josh, you know how many hits they had over the weekend total?
Oh, I don't, but not enough.
14.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's 1 from Lockridge. That's the 2nd hit he had all weekend, I believe. Jake Bauers had 5 of those hits.
Yeah. Including the one very important hit that stopped Paul Skeens from having a perfect game.
Whoa. So I don't want anybody to throw a perfect game against the Milwaukee Brewers ever. No hits? How about no? And, dude, that would have been cool.
Okay. I was like, I don't know where we're going to bring this up, but I'm watching. So I had Bowling State over the weekend. So I'm watching the game with some buddies, that game specifically against Skeens. And I'm going, please get a hit. Please get a hit. I do not need to see highlights forever on this guy's Hall of Fame career run when they're making montages of him throwing a perfect game against the Brewers. Please. No. And my buddies are going, why? If they get a hit, the game's just over. At least we get to see history. And I'm like, yeah, history against my team. No.
I'm with your buddies.
No, I don't want to see it. Not against us.
I don't want to see it. And I would have loved to see it. I don't want to see it. I don't want it to happen against the Brewers.
Right.
That's how I opened it. And I would love to see another perfect game in baseball, specifically because no hitters and perfect games take complete games. And that is so rare in Major League Baseball today.
Okay, but so you still weren't cheering for him to get it, though, because it was against the Brewers? Or were you saying that you put that aside and you were cheering for him to just finish it out?
So the word cheering is where the difference is. There is none of me that wants to be a fan of the Pirates and Paul Skeens and therefore cheering for him to throw a perfect game, even more so against the Brewers. And it would have been cool to see someone throw a perfect game.
Okay.
See, there's a difference there.
I can't separate the two. Yeah, yes, I get it would have been cool, but not in that scenario. I was very happy when Bauers got that single.
Well, I would be a lot happier if they got more of those. They only had 5 doubles. That was the extra base hits that the Brewers got over the last 3 games. Does anybody have Joe Boo's cell phone number?
Yeah, please.
Wake up, bats.
My, oh
More
my.
Brewers as we go about the show. Badgers. So I saw a bunch of this on the socials over the weekend, Josh, that the Badgers did not have a player drafted for the first time since 1978. Are we worried about that, or is that just the way of the NIL era? Because there was at least one guy that was drafted from the state of Wisconsin that played for the Badgers, but he transferred out. That's Riley Nowakowski from Marquette High School. He left and went to Indiana, and won that whole national championship thing. There were 6 guys from Wisconsin that got drafted, but none of them are going to have Wisconsin Badgers in their little intro if they're in a starting lineup as we continue on in their career. That bothers me.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't just a first round pick, right? This isn't first time since whenever that Wisconsin Badger has gone the entire time. The entire draft. And no, I definitely think that's a big deal. 78 was a long time ago. You can't
47 drafts in a row.
Yeah, not good. That's definitely a sign of the times of what's happening in Madison.
Absolutely. A sign of the times with the NIL, a sign of the times of the Badgers football program. And peace out, Chris McIntosh.
Yeah.
Take your ball and go home.
Bad.
Bucks.
Is no news good news here? There's no official Bucks team announcement that I saw, Josh, unless you saw one that says Taylor Jenkins has officially been named the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks.
No, I am a little surprised that there was no confirmation of the stories and the reports and everything else. Like what does that mean? Especially just with the storylines and everything else that's happened with the Bucks. It's hard to not have your brain race a little bit and go, oh God, is something going to change? Is some other story going to come out where Taylor Jenkins changed his mind or the teams couldn't come to an agreement, something going on? I'm hoping that's just, it's just us rushing it, and it'll come in due time. There's not a need necessarily for that news to come out yet.
Do Taylor Jenkins and Jonathan Gannon have the same agent that say you sit in this closet?
That's a good point. Yeah. We talked about it enough. We're following the Gannon method. We'll make the announcement officially on social media in a month. And then 2 months after that, we'll let you get in front of a podium.
Maybe. According to my calendar, longer.
Yeah.
Brutal. All right, well, I guess we just sit and wait about him and any news in regards to Giannis's future with the Bucks. This is what it's like when the Bucks aren't in the playoffs.
Crickets.
Anything else?
Anything else?
You had state bowling?
Sure did.
How'd that go?
Not great. I averaged 190. Not where I wanted to be. The whole team struggled. We had a great time.
Wait, you averaged 190? That is very non-Josh Albrecht.
I mean, yeah.
What's your average in your weekly bowling efforts?
Like 210.
So you were 20 pins off.
Yep.
That's not good.
No. And I was still I was second or third on the team. So I guess our two teams, because we have two squads that go up.
Where'd you go?
It was in Fond du Lac.
Okay.
So we went up Friday, got a little tour de Fond du Lac, went out to a few different places. Got to see the best that Fond du Lac had to offer. And then we bowled. The big thing that really sucked is we bowled Saturday night. So our first squad for doubles and singles started at like 8:30 p.m. on Saturday night. We didn't get out of the bowling alley until 12:45. Yeah.
How was your dude?
And then Sunday we turned around and bowled team at noon.
Got to be honest, I have no further questions as to why you only bowled 190 average.
Yeah.
It is clear as the bell to me.
So it was, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that set. We didn't obviously choose that time. That's just what we got stuck with. I'm not using it necessarily as an excuse, but it definitely sucked, and it was not something that we are used to. I mean, especially, you and I doing this shift, I was already yawning at 8:30 before we started bowling. I was already getting ready for bed.
Well, but adulting is important, and you went up Friday night and took a tour of Fond du Lac. I would imagine that night, I'm not your dad, but that wasn't in bed by 10 night.
No, but it wouldn't have mattered, is my point. Like, my
but then how was your
clock,
Saturday? What did you do all day Saturday?
We had a nice dinner. Like, we slept in, Saturday, and then we had a nice dinner at like 3:30, 4 o'clock. Nice early dinner. Gave ourselves time to process that.
You didn't drink at all?
Not really. On Saturday, no, because we knew we had bowling. So that was the other thing. Like, we couldn't just like let loose.
But you just decided to go up the night before so you could let loose.
Right. So that we had like a day to do that. But it was also extremely hot in the bowling alley on Saturday. Like, really hot. Like, it was like if we weren't the physique that we are, we would be taking off more clothes because it was so hot.
You're a shorts bowler though, right?
Yeah, well, usually not. Usually, especially at tournaments, I'll wear pants. So luckily, I did wear shorts, because if I was wearing pants on Saturday, I would have been dead.
Bad.
Oh, yeah. It was rough.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. JB in the 920. Why would you want him to have a perfect game against your team? Absolutely not cool. JB, rewind the tape. I did not want him to have a perfect game against the Brewers, and it would have been cool to see. Two things can be true at once, bud. I absolutely was not rooting for, cheering for, wanting him to throw a perfect game against the Brewers. But when there's a perfect game headed into the 7th and Jake Bauers got his hit, I was like, oh, there's that. Okay. Like,
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of with JB. I'm kind of not. I understand that you weren't cheering for it, but I feel like that's not something necessarily you can be in the middle on. You either wanted him to get the perfect game or you didn't.
Don't tell me I'm a fan.
I just don't understand how you can want both.
Two things can be. Well, I didn't want him to throw a perfect game against the Brewers. So compartmentalize that. I did not want him to throw a perfect game against the Brewers.
Okay, so then you didn't want it. No, then that's the end of the
don't tell me I'm
sentence.
a fan. And I would have loved to see a perfect game in baseball. The fact that it was against the Brewers is irrelevant because I don't want that to happen. But if it would have happened, I would have been like, damn, that's cool. Especially in 2026 when pitchers don't pitch anything close to long in a game. So it would have been good for the sport, good for the news, good for us to be able to see it live, whether it was on TV or in person. And I absolutely don't want that against the Brewers.
Right. So in that moment, you did not want him to throw a perfect game
against the Brewers.
Right.
And it would have been really cool to see a perfect game thrown in baseball.
I'm not going to get it. My brain's like, nope, this isn't making sense. This is like in school when a teacher goes over like a math equation and I'm like, you can say it 20 more times. It's not getting through.
Not
Sorry.
good on the algebra.
I'm not understanding how you're going to do both.
Awesome. Hey, shout out to my oldest son, Rhodey, who goes for his license today.
Oh boy. Clear the roads.
16th birthday yesterday. So I'm excited for that. 1:00 this afternoon. And it was our also 18th wedding anniversary yesterday. It was a big weekend at our house. Thank you very much. All right, when we get back, we want to know your grade of the Packers draft and why. Literally, if you were to look up grades from all of the different outlets across the country, you would see some A+ all the way down to a D and every grade in between. So what's your grade and why are you grading them that? 414-677-1250. The Nicolay Law talk and text line. Josh and I will share our grades too as we're off and running on a Monday morning. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Good morning.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Josh has questions. We assume you have a question or two in regard to the NFL draft over the weekend for the Green Bay Packers. And thus we create space for you to ask any and all questions you can possibly come up with because we have the answers.
We have answers.
We have the answers. Not always right.
That's right.
It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh on a Monday morning post-NFL draft where the Green Bay Packers selected 6. We had 8 picks. We left the draft with 6. First things first, I have questions. What does that mean for this NFL draft? If Brian Gutekunst says, I don't need all my picks, that is a direct reflection on the talent or lack thereof in this NFL draft because that dude loves draft picks.
Right. I mean, that was very evident. And it's not like they didn't go and sign some undrafted free agents, right? There were still some people that they knew, we probably don't need to waste a draft pick on this guy. We can just sign him after the draft. But to your point, that seemed like a very un-Goody-like thing to do. Whether you agree with the decision or not is completely different than the fact that Goody decided to make it.
So, do you agree? What's your grade of the Green Bay Packers draft this weekend? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. 414-677-1250. Josh said it there. Yes, and, dude, it's a new day today even. Here's Goody.
Sometime around 9 o'clock, we'll take a look at it and say, okay, what's next? And we'll start in, what's coming tomorrow and the next day, and that won't change. So, I felt good about our team before this weekend. These guys, I think, are going to be really good additions to our locker room and then our football team, and I think they'll help us. But, tomorrow's another day, and we'll see if there's areas we can improve, and if we can, we will.
9 a.m. is day 1 of the next 365 of building the next championship roster for the Green Bay Packers. How do you feel about that, Josh?
I mean, that's pretty cliche. Thing draft's over. Now we go to work type of mentality. That's good, right? It's better than him saying like, yep, I'm glad we got through the draft. We're going to take a little time off. Like, okay. That would have been more of a question mark. I'm fine with the answer. I'm fine with the draft.
What's your grade?
I gave it a B+.
Tell me more.
So I liked the positions covered. I think there has to be a little bit of grace given knowing how the Packers drafted without a first round pick, right? Like they got guys, they covered the pieces that we knew they needed to. The only thing that I was disappointed in was the fact that, like you said, and this is why they do that and I do this, but depth and just getting more bodies. Like we talk about, it would have been great if they would have drafted multiple offensive linemen. Okay. Well, if they were going to do that, that would have been in the 7th round. So clearly there was something there to where Goody went, there's not really an offensive lineman here that, sparks anything or revs my engine at all. So it's not worth wasting a pick. Go get this kicker. The fact that they also traded away those picks and then with their last pick took a kicker was another one that kind of moved it down from being like an A to me. But I was very satisfied with the picks they made and the people they picked. And everything that I saw from the people that study the draft, the Andy Hermans of the world, the Bill Hubers of the world, the Cheesehead TVs of the world, everyone was very happy with the picks that they made. Andy Herman actually 5 hours before the pick was made in the 2nd round said his final prediction was that it was going to be Cisse. So I was like, all right, hey, you literally picked who Andy said. I'm good with that. And so I didn't really have much to complain about with the draft beyond just you threw away the opportunity to draft 2 more guys in that 7th round and you used your last pick on a kicker. All of that being said, I could be very, very happy with that kicker, depending on how he does.
You and me both, Josh. B+.
Really?
B+. I'll explain, but let's go over some of the other draft grades just to give you an idea of how far apart these draft grades were for the Packers. USA Today, The Sporting News, and CBS Sports, A-. NFL.com, Pro Football Network, PFF, all in the B range. ESPN's Mel Kiper, Yahoo Sports, C+. Sports Illustrated, a D. And I don't think that was Bill Huber Sports Illustrated. It was just the old SI.com in general.
Yeah, probably AI. Probably did that.
Probably so, yeah. Mine's a B+ because for the first time, we saw Brian Gutekunst be confident in his picks versus the number of picks. And I'm not saying that he's not confident in his picks in the past, but he picked 6 times. That's only tied for the least amount of picks ever in Packers history of all-time NFL draft picks for the Green Bay Packers. That, to me, said that he's really confident in the team that we have coming back, number 1. Number 2, in the guys that we picked. Number 3, he chose not to waste 2 7th-round picks, but instead trade up for a kicker, which caught all of us by surprise. And we have to take into consideration, if you look at any trade this year across the board in the NFL draft, whether it was for a pick for a player, for multiple picks to move up or down, the best trade in the 2026 NFL draft was our first-round pick for Micah Parsons.
Yep. Yeah, I hope we can all agree on that. Anyone that's going, man, we really missed by not getting that guy in the first round, and it sucks that we have Parsons, is crazy, especially just based on how that draft went. I will say I was surprised by the trading within the draft for Goody, right? Like, because he also traded, we had that extra 5th-round pick that he traded to move up in, what was it, the 4th? He moved up like, I don't know, 7 or 8 spots. He traded away that 2nd, 5th-round pick. So if we're still looking at bodies and just wanting to get bodies, there was an opportunity to still add an additional body before the 6th. And he went, nope, I don't need this one. I'm going to trade that away to go get this guy. I don't know. That's the only reason for me why it wasn't a good draft. The guys they selected were great. I was very happy with. It was just in my brain, I keep going through depth, opportunities, diamonds in the rough, bites of the apple. Give yourself a chance with as many guys as you can. And trading away opportunities to do that, it went against what I was expecting.
The pick you were talking about, Josh, was the number 77 pick overall. We went from 84 to 177 and also sent pick number 160 away. MIZZOU, Chris McClellan, defensive tackle at number 77. I immediately texted John Anderson, former ESPN SportsCenter anchor and former co-host of the Inside Wisconsin podcast, and said, do you like it? Because he is in deep at Missouri. That's where he lives now. That's where he teaches. There was a Missouri pick last year that, was it last year or the year before, that he was not very excited about? This one, needless to say, it was in that direction, the good way of the pick versus the what are we thinking? And that's good. I'll take that from the guy that's in the mix.
Yeah, well, I certainly hope so, too, if, Goody went out of his way to make sure that they got that pick, right? He saw something in McClellan that went, okay, nope, this is the guy we need. I still don't expect him to be a starter.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. The defensive line, specifically at the D tackle position, listen, he's a big old boy.
It's true.
And you're in a 3-4 now. So that requires big old boys.
Yeah.
There's a chance that we may see him quite a bit this season, just completely depending on Devontae Wyatt and how he comes back from injury, what the edge rush looks like in a 3-4. I'm really curious on that. Really curious on what the edge rush looks like in a 3-4 defense. It almost comes back to a 5-2 or a 4-4 in most scenarios based on what we think their play call is going to be. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. A question here says, Trevor, happy anniversary and happy birthday to Rhodey. Thank you. That was yesterday. What's the over-under on how much your insurance is going to go up with a 16-year-old boy? Funny you ask. The variables are aplenty.
Oh,
Good grade, safe driver, volunteer work, all the things that they want those kids to do to get discounts.
yeah.
I believe the over-under is $150 per month
Mm.
in additional premium to put the 16-year-old boy on the insurance.
He could take the bus.
Yeah, well, he's got to drive himself to the bus, though. That's the whole plan. Like, go to the bus stop because he doesn't get picked up from the door. But yeah, I think he's gonna based on how much gas is. I'm going to say $150. The over-under is 150 on how much it's going to cost. I'll find out this afternoon, hopefully, when he gets his license, knock on wood.
Yeah, that's step one.
And then we'll make the call and just, I don't know. It's going to be a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Would you charge, hear me out on this. Would you charge your 16-year-old son the insurance per month? Like, is that his bill? It's not?
I wouldn't.
Why?
Because I'm going to have them pay for their own gas. Like that's usually insurance.
We're giving him a car though. I had to buy my first car. Did you?
I paid half. I had $6,000 invested
Skin in the game.
Yeah. And I'd been saving that money like my whole life.
Uh-huh. What was your first car?
A 2005 Honda Civic.
Yeah. See, parents were smart. Honda. Let's go.
Yeah.
Rhodey is getting a 2012 Buick Enclave, and he's going to like it. And he and my wife cleaned that thing head to toe yesterday while I was watching the Brewers game. And Rhodey came inside and goes, I am not letting anybody eat or drink in my car. That was disgusting. To which Amanda and I went, really?
Yeah.
Tell us all about it, dude. That's 16 years worth of your guts and grime in there, not ours.
Give it a couple months, kiddo. Give it a couple months. There'll be some French fries on the ground.
Yeah, 100% chance. He's going to be allowed to eat and drink, I'm sure. Just nobody else.
Right. Of course.
Yes.
Because I'm responsible. You guys are the problem.
Where did you find an electrifying sound from the Brewers game?
Oh, there was a pitcher yesterday that did pretty well for the team.
Thank God.
Yeah, we found one. We got one electrifying sound.
That's next. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
It's time for
The most electrifying.
Sound of the Day
The most electrifying.
on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
Ran into a pitch count trouble. And he's got another strikeout. Secured at first, no problem. Kyle Harrison, a career best 12 strikeouts. He strikes out the side in the sixth, probably his last inning. And he'll exit with 6 shutout innings. What a performance from the big lefty from Northern California.
Kyle Harrison throwing 12 Ks and 6 shutout innings. Call courtesy of BA and Brewers TV. This is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress, connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. I mean, starting pitching being the highlight right now for the Milwaukee Brewers. They have a lot of spots to fill, a lot of holes to fill. They need to get better in a lot of different ways. But that was awesome seeing a starter just dominate the way that he did, especially one that we got in a trade like that. Like that, Trev.
Thank God. Thank God he pitched the way he did, because the bats weren't going to have his back.
Yeah, I mean, they did. I mean, they put up 5 runs yesterday. They couldn't find a way to do that.
In general, of a Brewers bats struggle bus. Brewers pitching, good weekend, actually. Angel Zerpa, same dude.
Yeah.
Same dude. Should not be in post 7th inning ever again.
It's frustrating. It's reaching frustration levels. We're going to talk about it in the morning mind dump.
Yeah, the Malott Meets Morning Mind Dump is at the top of the hour. We want to know, is it time to hit the anxiety button? You ever seen Inside Out, the movie, Josh? Of course you have. You're a Disney guy. You've seen Inside Out 2?
Yep.
Well, that's when, what's her name?
Riley
gets to the teenage years and anxiety comes along with all things adolescence and growth.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's time to hit the panic button, but the old anxiety button's starting to flash a little bit.
Yeah.
And we'll hear from Murph after the game and help us understand kind of where we're at. Maybe we're a little spoiled. Maybe we have expectations of our team. The truth lies somewhere in the middle, most likely.
True.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line.
We had Brian from South Milwaukee. He just fell off, but
had to go to work.
He did. But I will say Brian did call in. He said that he was giving his Packers grade on the draft a B, a solid B. He wished that they would have had a receiver, add a wide receiver in there into the mix. He was thinking that maybe they were just a little thin there now that they let Wicks go. I don't know. I think there are a few bigger needs that the Packers needed to worry about instead of a wide receiver. I expect them to push more for the wide receiver in next year's draft. I think they'll be fine this season.
Yeah, we had plenty of wide receivers to the point where we got rid of a number of them.
Yeah. Well, and we'll see. We'll see when training camp starts too, where that all shakes out.
The 262 says, my question was the Packs pick worth 3 draft picks. They're talking about the one that they made the trade for to trade up and then ultimately lose 2. You're talking about pick number 77 overall. We talked about that a little bit. Chris McClellan. The Packers traded the 160th pick and their 84th pick. So 2 for 1. Moved up and got Chris McClellan. That was surprising. At 77, correct.
Right.
So is that worth 2 picks? Is that person saying, well, really, it was only 1. We swapped picks, right?
Yep, there's a pick swap plus 1.
Plus 1. I think so. And here's the main reason why. Goody said that the next pick, actually, they were trying to move back up into the 3rd round to get. But Donnie Dennis Sutton, the edge rusher from Penn State that they took at pick number 120, actually fell to them in the 4th round. But when Goody talked about wanting to get back up in the 3rd over the weekend, it was to get him. Yeah. And then the center, Jagger Burton. I wanted his name to be Yager in the worst way. It's not. It's Jagger.
No, that's okay, though. That's all right. I'll take that.
And then we all know about the picks that we traded to get back up. into the 6th for the kicker, whose name we're going to have a lot of fun with, Trey Smack. Did you see some of the videos on social media?
Smack it.
We'll see how that competition goes in camp. It's not too far away. Blink, it'll be here. And now we're off and running for Packers season. There's a rookie camp coming up. We know that OTAs and all the offseason programs are underway. It's only a matter of time until we're screaming, go, Pack, go. But for right now, we're screaming, would you hit, please, to the Milwaukee Brewers. The Malott Meats Morning Mind Dump is next. How do we feel, Brewers fans? I don't think we're panicking. We'll hear from the Skip in regard to how he feels and how he thinks fans should feel. Is he telling us how to fan? Maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
But is there anxiety? For me, always.
For me, double it.
Always with the Brewers, too. We're back in a bit on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
It is my esteemed pleasure to make this second-round pick on behalf of Ed Policy, Brian Gutekunst, Matt LaFleur, and the millions of Packer fans across the world with the 52nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The Green Bay Packers select Brandon Cisse, defensive back, South Carolina.
9 to noon with John Kuhn. Rami Makloff is when we'll hear all about that moment from our guy, John Kuhn, on what it was like in his hometown, Josh, to announce the first pick of the Green Bay Packers 2026 NFL Draft there at number 52.
Yeah, it was funny. I actually heard him on 9 to noon last week, and Rami had asked him about, how it feels being back home. And he's like, that's not home. Home is Green Bay. And he was like, but I did grow up just a little bit outside of Pittsburgh. And I thought that was interesting because it definitely, even though he's a transplant, he is embodied being from Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Does he sound more like us or more like, Don Ton? He's got a good mix, I think.
Yeah, it is a pretty good mixture. I don't think it leans one way or the other.
What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. A time of the day is upon us where we like to get all the things that we've carried into the week from the weekend off our chest and out of our head, especially when it comes to Brewers baseball and other things. Maybe there's other things we would like to listen and give you the opportunity to share. We're a safe place. But this is really about Brewers baseball. What in the ever-living hell is going on? Time for the Malott Meets Morning Mind Dump.
I have voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
The coffee has kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We've got no food. We've got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.
It's time for the Morning Mind Dump, presented by Malott Meats. High-quality meats at a fair price, safely delivered to your front door. To learn more, visit WisconsinMeatMarket.com. Experience the power of the family meal with Malott Meats on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
It's your last week to take advantage of the 10% off the meat of the month with the tenderloin. You can get it in time for Mother's Day. Mom deserves good steak, by golly. And Malott Meats is where you get it. High-quality meats at a fair price delivered right to your door. To learn more, head there, WisconsinMeatMarket.com. Josh, I picked up a brisket from Malott Meats on Friday. Smoked it for our anniversary and Rhodey's birthday yesterday. Turned out, chef's kiss.
Nom, 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 nom.
I was the chef. And I would admit it if I screwed it up, because that's not easy.
Yeah, but you didn't. You killed it.
Nailed it.
Good for you.
It's pretty much gone. That's usually a sign.
Yeah, darn right.
So how many signs do we look into here with this Milwaukee Brewers baseball team? We mentioned before the top of the hour, if you've seen a movie called Inside Out or Inside Out 2, there's a little button in the second movie that flashes when Riley gets to the age where anxiety starts to be a thing. I don't think we're ready to hit the panic button, but the old button of anxiety seems to be flashing right now for us as Milwaukee Brewers fans. And the question, I guess, we're trying to figure out is, should we be filled with anxiety and panic, or should we not? Before we give you our take, this is where Murph feels in regards to the Brewers right now.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball, who would have thunk it? 13-12, and we're all like doom and gloom. Feels like we're 3-30, doesn't it? Doesn't it? We're so used to it. We're so spoiled from being so damn competitive.
I could listen to that clip 50 times in a row and have it hit me some way differently emotionally.
Okay.
So
I have one emotion that comes with this clip, but I'm really curious to know how you are hearing it and feeling it.
First and foremost, he says 13 and 12, right? This was from over the weekend. They're 14 and 13 now, but the numbers are the same, right? In terms of winning percentage. I'm going to play it one more time.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball. Who would have thunk it? 13 and 12, and we're all like doom and gloom.
Okay, I'll stop it right there. So this is the skip. This is the manager saying that. And then he goes on to say,
feels like we're 3 and 30, doesn't it?
When he says that, I think he's talking to us, the fans,
He is.
the media.
100% he's talking to us.
However, Murph, if that's how we're all feeling, there's a reason. There's a reason. Now, his thinking on it is because
we're so used to it. We're so spoiled from being so damn competitive.
And there's definitely some truth to that. But also, we are desperate for a World Series win, and we saw what was possible last year, where this team was. How do you not expect Brewers fans to be still in that mindset? You won 97 games last year. You set records as a team. I don't know how we're supposed to just completely act like that didn't happen. So that's kind of my defense against it. The other emotion I feel, though, is he's right. What? Like, we are above 500. We're absolutely. Look at the Red Sox right now, right? Like a team that the Brewers lost 2 games to. They lost the series to the Boston Red Sox, and they fired their manager over the weekend. They are a train wreck. Through 27 games, the Brewers are still above 500. And while it was against a division opponent that they lost 2-3, and it was on a homestand against that team that they lost 2-3, the Brewers are still, they're not in a bad place. It just feels, to Murph's point, yeah, it does feel like they're 3 and 30. So I'm not blaming the media on that. I'm not blaming the fan base. If we're feeling that way, there's a reason. And I don't know if it's just Murph hasn't put 2 and 2 together, but I don't think the fans are in the wrong for feeling the way they do, even though the numbers don't say it.
How often do I give you a hot take?
Well, couple times a week.
Fairly rarely, right? I mean, like sports radio in general, we have 9 20-minute segments-ish.
Sure.
Right? Over 3 hours, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 segments total in the week. I rarely give you a hot take. Like, It's just not my jam. That pisses me off, what Murph said. And I'm really upset by it, actually. Like,
whoa.
I really hate that clip. Play it again.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball. Who would have thunk it? 13 and 12, and we're all like doom and gloom. Feels like we're 3 and 30, doesn't it? Doesn't it? We're so used to it. We're so spoiled from being so damn competitive.
You're telling me we're spoiled? Are you serious, Murph? Spoiled from what? From wins or a World Series victory? We're at the point as fans of this franchise where nothing else is acceptable but a World Series win. And I am absolutely desperate for that. So if I'm supposed to feel like I'm spoiled because the Brewers aren't what they were last year, the year before, well, let me take you back to 2008 or 2011 or 2018 or any of the other years there in between where we didn't win anything in the playoffs to even get to the next round. Nothing about me as a Brewers fan is spoiled. It's the exact opposite. So if I feel this way at the beginning of the season because my hopes are up, because you told me my hopes should be up, and you proved it to me last year and the year before, then sorry that my expectations are that the Brewers are winning baseball team. But to tell me as a fan that I'm spoiled, holy hell. Spoiled with what?
I love that. I love that from you.
Oh, come on.
That's great.
When you sent me that this morning, I was like, oh, God.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I think I agree with you on a lot of those points. The only devil's advocate point I will give Murph is that it is based on where we're at in the season. We're 27 games in. We're 14-13. Okay? And he's saying you'd think we're 3-30. I mean, I don't
Who says who? We? As in, like, is he saying that we are acting like it's 3-30?
Yes. I think he's like the overall aura around this team, the vibes around this team from the media, the fan base, everything else would scream that this team is not one game above 500. My thought is, okay, so where did we want this team? Where did we expect this team to be to where we're not feeling that way? If we're 14-13 now, what, 17-10? If we had 3 more wins, would that make us go? If we were, I don't know, go further. If we were 20-7, like where was that number supposed to be to make us feel that way? That's why for me, I don't think it's about when he says you would have thought we're 3-30. To me, it's not about the record.
I agree.
It's about the level of play looking forward, which, to his point, we are still missing a lot of pieces. But this is a frustrating stretch of Brewers baseball. That doesn't mean it's going to be this way all season. It's still early. It's still April. For at least a few more days, it is still April, which is when the season began. Like, it's early. However, this is a very frustrating stretch of baseball for the Milwaukee Brewers.
I'm ride or die Brewers. You are ride or die Brewers. So many people listening to us across the state of Wisconsin on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Hello, Wisco jerseys, ride or die Brewers. P.S. If they get a perfect game thrown against them in those Wisco jerseys, light them all on fire.
No, well, they've won a game in them, right? Oh, no.
Mm-mm.
That's right. They have.
When I saw that perfect game happening from Skeens, I was like, oh, my God. Those jerseys are never going to be allowed out of the closet ever again.
Yeah, they need a W in that jersey. Bad.
To your point, Josh, have frustrations with the team and the performance and the 4-game losing streak yet again. That's the second one of the season. But that doesn't mean that I'm just A-okay and everything's sunshine and rainbows. I'm allowed to be frustrated. I want to see my team do well. There's been a bunch of different lineups. The pitching and relief hasn't been great. We have very little ability to confidently close out a game right now. And the batting over the weekend was absolutely atrocious. That's frustrating. But to tell me I'm spoiled, nothing about my life as a Brewers baseball fan feels spoiled to me at all. Nothing.
I understand where you're coming from, and I'm definitely not telling you how to fan. The Nicolay Law fan talking text line lighting up right now. We want your reaction to this and how you're feeling about the Brewers. Are you hitting that anxiety button, or is it at least flashing for you? 414-677-1250. Let's go to the 262 that said the 2-out crew creates suspense and anxiety, not to mention all the warning track hits that are caught. So that's where they come from for the anxiety part. 906 says Murph is 100% correct. Again, we are in a great spot. Let's go.
Okay, pause. I completely agree with you about 95% of the things that he said. But when he said that, how spoiled are we? That's what I'm like, bud. I don't even know how to process that. As a Brewers baseball fan, what does that even mean? Like, think about that, Josh. What could it possibly mean that we as Brewers fans are spoiled?
Well, but that's his point exactly. He's saying we're spoiled because we feel the way we do with them being a game above 500. He's saying you're looking at that record that we have, that this team has given you at this point in the season, and you're mad and you're anxious and you're worried when we are a game above 500 through 27 games. Boy, these fans are spoiled from being so competitive.
But then what do you want from your fans instead? Like, is that not what you want from your fanatics? Is to want all of the biggest and best things for you possible and for our team that we support, blood, sweat, and tears, money in, money out.
I think
I'm just not sure what the alternative is.
I think that is that support is what he's looking for. That kind of unwavering support, especially knowing that there's still a game above 500, that they're not, to his point, if they were 3-30, if they were playing terribly, then maybe he'd go, yeah, there's more of an excuse. I understand the fans' frustration. He doesn't understand the frustration right now.
B. Hintage goes on to say here on the Nicolay Law talk and text line, and I completely agree with this. B. Hintage in West Allis. It's April. Don't be the president of the overreaction committee. Our 3 best hitters are injured. We're going to be fine. And if they have a season where they don't make the playoffs, I'm sure we'll manage. Suck it up, Buttercup. Stiff upper lip. Buddy, I 100% agree with everything that you just said. I, too, believe we're fine. I, too, believe that the Brewers need to get their hitters back, and it'll be a completely different team. I know, as does Josh, that the pitching performance in terms of its poorness is not something that we're going to deal with all year at this level across the board almost. And that doesn't mean it's not frustrating now, and I don't feel like we're spoiled. That's the difference. I'm all in, Brewers. I'm all in. Josh is all in.
Yeah.
And watching this team right now is frustrating and confusing.
The 262, the 414 says, anxiety, yes, panic, no. Let's see where they are on June 1st. Hopefully they will get most of the pieces back and have a consistent lineup. Yeah, that's a big part of it. 920 says, face it, teams in the Central got better. Maybe the Cards fade, but Pittsburgh, the Cubs, and Reds are legit. Should be fun.
The 920 right after that says, spoiled by the 90-win seasons and usual collapse in playoffs. Is that what we're talking about? That's kind of my point.
I think the 262 puts a big point on this here. He says, Murph sees the season as a marathon. Us fans and the media see it as a sprint. As an average fan in Wisconsin, the season ends at the end of August when the Packers season starts.
It used to.
It used to for a while. Yeah, I do think he has a point, though, about it being, the marathon versus the sprint. Not necessarily that we don't understand the length of the season and everything, but it's the roller coaster ride, right? We're up and down every month of the Brewers season. It's a long ride that we're on. But right now, I think, too, more than just the record, it's how the Brewers are losing games. It's how it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
If it was like, hey, we're losing games 2-1 because the bats are cold, but our pitching is lights out, then we're going, all right, the fix is we need to get rid of some guys, bring some other guys up, and wait for our other guys to get healthy. But it's not just that. It's also the bullpen woes. It's the losing games in the 8th and 9th innings. When you go into them with the lead, that makes for frustrating baseball. I think that's a big part of why we feel the way we do. It's not just because they lost. We understand losses are going to happen. It's the way they're losing.
So to the 608 here on the Nicolay Law talking text line, 414-677-1250. To that point, let's take this into consideration. This person says Murph is 1,000% correct, and your reaction validates that. How are your hopes up already when the Brewers are a game better through 27 games this year than last year? How are your hopes up through 27 games, period? The vast majority of Brewers fans have a sky is falling mentality when it's still only April. I think that's his point. The whole conversation here is, are we hitting the panic button, or do we have anxiety with this team? Shout out Riley from Inside Out 2, where that little button flashes and it's brand new for us. We haven't had this kind of anxiety, Josh, with the Brewers in some time. To your point,
is that true?
Well, not last year. Not
At
the year
any
before
point?
that. Not any point, no, but this feels worse to us. And maybe it's an overreaction. Maybe that's what this Monday is going to be after 4 in a row and 2 series in a row that we lost.
Jacob Intosa says the reason for the Brewers' panic is simply that the NL Central is on fire right now, and the Cubs are beating up bad teams while the Brewers are facing Cy Young winners in back-to-back games. Yeah, there's a part of it, with that too. It's about timing. The Cubs are on a roll. They're, playing teams that are slumping right now. The Brewers aren't. The Brewers are going up against Skubal and Skeens. That's also going to be a part of it. Which, to the 906's point, they say with these injuries, I figure we would be 5 games below where we are. We are doing great.
The 262 says, the it's early stuff pisses me off. These games all matter at the end of the year. And maybe that's the point. Can we just be a fan of the team throughout the season with highs and lows and be frustrated at times, be celebratory at other times, and have a little anxiety this time of year when at the end of the day, this does not seem to be a team that is going to be able to win in a consistent way. The hitting's not there. The relief pitching's not there. Not all of the starters' dominance is there. It's just different. But that doesn't make us spoiled.
414 says, if my baseball team is going to struggle, this is when I want them to struggle. Yeah, absolutely, right? You want them in the beginning. Although there's something, too. How many times last season, Trevor, did I talk about them getting hot at the right time? Did they get hot too early? Are they going into the postseason on a cold note? So there's ups and downs for sure with that. The 920 says, we have been spoiled as fans because of injuries like this in the past. The team kept winning through. To be one game over 500 now with the injuries they've had has been an accomplishment.
Can we compare that real quick to the way the Packers just came out of the draft? We talked ad nauseum last season with Green Bay that you can't use injuries as an excuse. The way they won the Super Bowl in 2010, Goody said that was the most injury-riddled team he'd ever been a part of, and that's the only ring he's got.
Mm-hmm.
We know the last 5 games of the Packers season last year came down to the inability to stay healthy. It's early. The Brewers aren't as healthy as we've seen them in the past, specifically this early in the season. And what if Murph would have went at it like this, according to the 920? Hey, coach, don't tell me how to fan. How about, yep, I get it. And don't worry, we'll get this thing going. It's early. That, Josh, would have been a completely different take, in my opinion. And personally, listening to how he phrased that about us as fans being spoiled kind of makes me think that he's a little anxious too. Because the Murph that I've watched the last 2+ seasons, I thought would have came out and said what the 920 said. Not so much.
All right. I'm going to regret this. Good thing we have Take Back Tuesday.
Take Back Tuesday, yeah.
So I usually have a lot more hot takes than you do. This felt a little Doc River-ish of an answer.
I'm writing down when you said that. Hold on.
I hate it, but his answer felt like, because this is the second time now this year, I wasn't happy with when he said that he was disappointed in the fans booing McGill and that we have good fans and they need to be better than that.
Yeah.
I was surprised by that. And now him coming out here and saying, boy, you'd think we're to me, it's, and the reason why I say Doc River-ish isn't because I think that Murph is coaching like Doc Rivers. Not even close. Murph is eons better than Doc Rivers as a coach. However, why is he focusing on this? Why is the focus on the media or the fan base, or the focus should be on the team? No, like it should be to the texter's point who just said in 920 saying, how about, yep, I get it. And don't worry, we'll get this thing going. It's early. Maybe not even that type of response, but saying, hey, here are the facts. The facts are we're 14-13. We are absolutely in this thing. Our starting pitching has been phenomenal. We're coming out. We're working on the things we need to, and we're going to get better. Stick with us. That's a Murph response that I would expect. And there have been 2 times this season where he said things that just made me go, huh, okay. Not necessarily that it's wrong, but it was just weird to hear it from Murph.
I believe that we can be Brewers fans 100% of the time, and that does not come with unwavering support. If we're losing and it's ugly, I'm going to be concerned. If we're winning and it's pretty, I'm going to be filled with excitement and joy. That's what being a fan is. If your support of the Brewers is 100% unwavered, it must mean your check is signed by the Milwaukee Brewers. Because that attitude in that clip to tell me as a Brewers fan that I'm spoiled,
Yeah.
Not according to the history of my life with that team.
I get it. I'm not going to tell you how to fan.
The good, the bad, the ugly. We do it every Monday. The Wisconsin sports weekend that was. 414-677-1250. The Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. What was good? What was bad? And what was ugly? 414-677-1250. Hey, by the way, the Brewers snapped a 4-game losing streak yesterday, and a win against the Pirates is a good thing. Brewers outfielder Christian Yelich joins the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis today at noon. We'll hear what he has to say here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Those studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Damn it, Josh. My pulse is up on a Monday.
You're supposed to feel better. You got it off your chest.
Yeah, well.
Not out of your head.
Gonna need more time, I guess. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. The Wisconsin Sports Weekend that was. The good, the bad, and the ugly. 414-677-1250. That's the Nicolay Law talk and text line. What do you think was good? What was bad? What was ugly? Let us know. Here's what we came up with from a good, bad, and ugly list. First things first, the Packers added a number of players to the CB room, which was badly needed and exactly what Goody said they needed to do. 2 of the 6 head to that room, Josh.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, we talked to multiple people. We talked to Bill Huber. We talked to Wayne Larrivee. We talked to Andy Herman. Many of them, if not all of them, said number one need is cornerback. And so Goody agreed. He gets, that's the only position where we come away with 2 of the same. And the first pick that they can pick in the draft ends up being a cornerback.
3 of the first 4 picks were on the defensive side of the ball. It was good to see the Packers add another edge rusher and a defensive tackle to bolster the 3 portion of the new 3-4. And Josh, I think it puts a little heat on LVN. Dude, make or break year, bud.
Yeah, time to step up. I think the biggest part of looking at those picks for the Packers and why they're good wasn't just because it was a position of need, but because the value of the player we got at the position that we did. It seemed like, those guys were ones that essentially a lot of the different talking heads and scouts and reporters and people that analyze the draft said that was great value at that position.
We thought it was good, too, that Jaden Reed got signed to an extension, a new 3-year, $50+ million deal for Jaden Reed. Here's what Coach LaFleur had to say on the signing.
Oh, it's big time. I think you talk about a guy that's a culture setter and the epitome of what we want representing our football team in regards to just how he prepares and how he goes out there and plays. And he never takes a play off, and you're always going to get his best. And I think one thing that's unique about him is just his ability to, bring others with him. I think he's a real leader for us.
That right there is worth every penny.
Yeah.
To have a guy like Jaden Reed, specifically in the wide receivers room, be a leader that brings other people along with them. Let's go.
Yeah, I think the big thing is just going to be at some point, once the dust settles from the draft and we start breaking down and focusing on different areas of the Packers, when we start looking at, all right, let's look at what the expectations are for this wide receiver room and who's going to be what between Golden, Reed, Watson, etc.
Hopefully Reed takes Golden under his wing, because if they can play as well as each other are capable of, along with Watson, to your point, look out. Lots and lots of weapons. And, Tucker Kraft's coming back. And, there's even more guys in that room that we don't know a whole lot about.
Yep.
But we'll take it. We also don't know a lot about why. You can't even say it without chuckling. I mean, we understand why we traded 2 picks to go back up and get a kicker, right? But we didn't know what really went into that. Goody talked about it in his presser yesterday, and I was really impressed with what he said about who he talked to about getting a kicker for competition purposes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, all our guys, and we're all trained to scout kickers and different things. But I do think it's a specialty, right? And I do think the special teams coaches, I've always felt that you need to lean on them a little bit. They spend a lot of time that I think there's certain things that our guys look for, and our guys will have opinions about them. They'll have strong opinions, our scouts. But I do think the special teams coaches, they'll have strong opinions too. And you try to take it all in. Make the best decision. But I would say with the special teams coaches, you lean on those guys a little bit more because it is a very special skill.
Whoa.
Is special teams the IT of football? Like,
did you turn it off and unplug it?
Right. Like, hearing that from him after hearing last season how LaFleur says, I don't talk to kickers. That's coming across to me like these guys going, No, there are nerds that handle that. I don't have time. If there's a problem, I go to them and I go, all right, translate this into English for me because I don't understand it. That was exactly what I heard from that clip from Goody. Was I went to the IT nerds because we needed to get a new piece of software, and I don't know the heck I'm talking about, but they do. So I trusted them.
I was really encouraged that we actually talked to the special teams coaches about the situation. You mean to tell me that there's like it just didn't seem like that was there. Listen, maybe I'm spoiled.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm gonna have a day with
I'm
that.
just saying it goes back to, remember we talked about this in the first segment. The Bill Huber asked him, how do you scout a kicker? And he laughed and put up the "it's good" sign. To me, how do you fix the computer? I unplug it, plug it back in. I don't know. It's kind of the same thing. It just seems to me like, I don't know if it's just a Green Bay mentality or an entire NFL mentality, but it sure feels like special teams is the IT department of, we got guys that handle that. I'm not handling that. There are guys that handle that, and we hope that they know what the heck's going on.
That explanation was actually how Goody followed up to Bill's question of putting his hands in the air and saying, well, we like field goals that are good. We'll start there. And then we kind of go from there. The 262 on the Nicolay Law talk and text line. It's 414-677-1250. They go, wait, we have a special teams head coach? Is that what we do? Well, we at least have a coaching staff that we're apparently talking to now. Mm-hmm. We just haven't gotten to say hello to them yet either. All right,
so those are the people.
Those are the good things, along with the Brewers salvaging a win. The bad is the Brewers salvaged a win over the weekend. Mm. And somebody on the Nicolay Law talk and text line, that number again, we say it a lot because rarely do you. What's the number?
Yeah.
414-677-1250. The 906 says Brewers were good. Fought through a struggle, kept from getting swept and staying above 500. I am not going to celebrate. At least we didn't get swept.
That's the expectations, right? Our bar is higher than that. Avoiding a sweep can't be the celebration. It's a sigh of relief at best.
Which I think is bad.
Yeah.
Was it also bad that the Packers only drafted one offensive lineman? The one that we got, Jagger Burton, a center/guard from Kentucky with the 153rd pick overall in the NFL draft. They went offense finally, and you had to know it was coming. They went defense for 3 straight picks. As we're watching the draft in our little man cave garage over the weekend, I looked at my oldest son, Rhodey, and said, this is offensive line. Well, and that's how 16-year-old boys sound in my head.
Is that how
Were you sure? I mean, we have a good time. So this was actually the pick that they used from the Wicks trade. Burton gives them the center guard depth that Goody wants. He's athletic. Chad Reuter from NFL.com liked the pick as a way to bolster the line, and that's what we're looking for is depth. The starting 5, unless something goes to hell in the handbasket, seems fairly stable.
Yeah. I mean, to me, this just screamed, them only taking the one offensive lineman screamed, yeah, there's just no one else in the draft that is worth a pick, worth spending a pick on. It's not like they ran out of picks. He had an opportunity. He traded him away. He got a kicker. He screamed to the world, no, I understand we could still use more help. It's not here. I'm in the draft room. I'm looking for it. There's no box labeled good offensive line help. So I'm turning the lights off and leaving the room. That's exactly the message I got. And I'm going, all right, I don't believe he's not going to find it. He didn't find it there. He'll find it in undrafted free agents, other people that they'll invite to camp. They're going to have guys. It just wasn't in the draft.
Yeah, I would say in regard to bolstering said offensive line, we are not done yet. By the way, Doug Gottlieb ended his speech at the Packers Phoenix State Fry with, we're not done yet.
Okay. He really needs to start giving me credit or paying royalties. So I'm going to figure it out.
I tell you to trademark it, but that typically comes along with a fight.
In coupons, he can do it, as he calls them. We'll talk about that on Wednesday.
There's the good and the bad. What's ugly about the weekend? There's a couple things. 414-677-1250. The Nicolay Law talk and text line. We're back in a bit. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Wendy's invented the iconic spicy chicken sandwich. And Wendy's new spicy chicken sandwich is even crispier and more flavor-packed than ever. And the breading, even crispier. Flavor inside, loud outside, 9 peppers and spices give it that bold, layered heat. Wendy's spicy chicken. Order it now in the Wendy's app.
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, the weekend in review, the Wisconsin Sports Weekend. We covered the good, we covered the bad, now for the ugly. Josh, there's one major thing that was ugly from the weekend, and it was the Brewers hitting, finger quotes,
quote unquote,
or lack thereof. 14 hits for the Brewers in total over the weekend. And Jake Bauers himself had 5 of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's going to happen, though, when you are almost shut out for a whole game. When you have, I mean, what was the final hit total in that game against Skeens? Was it just his one hit? Bauer's one hit? Yeah.
Terang was the only other base runner. He got walked late in the game.
So, I mean, yeah, to be honest with you, 14 with only one coming in one of the games, one hit, one GD hit, to quote you, I mean, it's not even that bad at that point. You just have that day in there. The bats aren't doing what they're supposed to. And again, to me, it all comes back to the frustration of in the moment and looking at that game. They lose 6-3 in extras. It was 3-3. You're right there. Are we complaining about the hits if they win that game 3-2, 4-3? I don't think so. Coming away with a win. But because you ended up losing at 6-3 in extras, that stung. Then you go against, the day before against Skeens. You didn't get anything. It's just like, frustrating losses. Not just losing, frustrating losses.
There was 92 at-bats for the Brewers over the weekend, and we got 14 hits. That is an average of 152. Joey Ortiz is hitting better than that.
Yeah.
I think he's better.
Well, and listen, this is probably going to be a conversation for tomorrow, but we gotta address the other elephant in the room, which is Sal Frelick. We got to talk about Sal. It's ugly. I know we're focusing on Joey Ortiz because Joey Ortiz has been there, but what is going on with Sal Frelick?
We're going to get the take from the franchise himself. Tim Allen joins us every Monday and every Friday at 8 a.m. with a little asterisk, just depending on where he's at and what he's doing with Brewers and how late the night was before. Well, yesterday, day game. So we got Timmy this morning at 8 a.m. We'll get his take plus his reaction on what Murph had to say. Maybe he can help calm me down. The only other ugly I wrote down, Josh, was it an ugly weekend for Brandon McManus?
I think it was a telling weekend for Brandon McManus. I don't think necessarily that Brandon McManus at this point is out of a job. I just think that he's got to really prove it. Like this, if you invested a pick, essentially this kid, the Packers are saying it's this kid's job to lose. You still got to be great, but if this kid is good, you're going to lose that job.
You just got paid $1 million roster bonus to be on the team as the kicker of the Green Bay Packers. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Then they trade 2 picks to go up around and pick a kicker. That's bad.
Well, Goody even said in that clip about the kicking, he said, obviously, McManus was great for us last year, except for obviously how that ends, which we all recognize, right? Which to me, he was saying we cannot have that when we put ourselves in those type of moments to come away with wins. And so, yeah, we're going to take a kicker.
We need kickers to win games. Well, we're going to have a little competition to see which kicker is going to help us win games. The Brewers need to figure out how to win more games, at least according to us, the fan, in comparison to other times, apparently, as Brewers fans. There's a lot of people on the Nicolay Law Talk and text line mentioning that, listen, if another team had these injuries, they would be 5 to 8 games under 500 and gotten swept and blah, blah, blah. Here's my problem. The one that's injured that seems to carry the biggest stick is, well, debatably, Christian Yelich and or Jackson Chourio.
Mm-hmm.
Yelly is injured a lot.
You still have Vaughn.
Yeah, but I mean, from a hitting perspective, I would say he's third on that list, don't you think?
I would agree with that, but there were plenty of times last year when we brought Vaughn in that he had that clutch gene, which there have been a lot of times throughout these first 27 games we've needed a clutch hit. So I think Vaughn coming back is going to be big.
Home runs would be cool, too. We haven't hit one of those since, 2017, it feels like.
Yep, that's true.
I don't want to be spoiled. All right.
You're so spoiled, Trevor.
Oh, dude, I'm not happy about that. Tim Allen, hopefully he can talk me into sense, a little more common sense. I don't know. Don't tell me to be spoiled as a Brewers fan, Murph. God, breathe. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, we are inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Tim Allen joins us next, and we'll continue to get your reaction from the weekend that was in Wisconsin sports. Stay here, Wisconsin. Be back in a few.
It's time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by the Milwaukee Area Napa Auto Care Association. Rainy conditions expected around 11 a.m. and continuing into the evening today with a high of 60 degrees. It's currently 48 degrees here in Milwaukee.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa!
It is my esteemed pleasure to make this second-round pick on behalf of Ed Policy, Brian Gutekunst, Matt LaFleur, and the millions of Packer fans across the world with the 52nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The Green Bay Packers select Brandon Cisse, defensive back, South Carolina.
Our guy John Kuhn from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network on the pick for the Packers in the second round of the NFL Draft on Friday. Audio courtesy of whatever network you watch the draft on. All the networks.
Yeah, take your pick.
ABC, ESPN, NFL Network, which I think is all the same thing.
True.
I'd say Pat McAfee, but then I think he's the same thing.
He is.
Courtesy of Disney. How about that? Thank you, Disney.
Courtesy of anywhere where the draft was being shown.
What's up, Wisconsin? Hour 3 is upon us. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Joining us now, as he does most Mondays and Fridays, unless it's a late night or he's on vacay, which is pretty rare. The guy doesn't really take vacation, I don't think. It's the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Here's proof he doesn't take vacation. He's hosting 9 to noon today.
Sure
Without
is.
John Kuhn and Rami Makloff, the one, the only, Tim Allen joins us.
On a Brewer's off day.
On a Brewer's off day.
That's right.
As if you were going to be allowed to have an off day. That's cute.
But
Think you're gonna sleep?
Vacation coming, Trevor. I mean, it is. It is going to be June 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Where are we going?
Because that's when the Milwaukee Brewers will be playing regular season games in Las Vegas.
Oh. Yeah, Timmy's not missing those.
No,
that's pretty cool.
No, I'm not. I mean, you think about that. Everyone's got the thing. Josh, you've got Disney, right?
Yep.
That's your thing. Trevor, I don't know. You've got Nashville, maybe Tennessee, somewhere.
That's spring break for Gatlinburg, but buddy, me and you have Vegas in common. I love.
We do. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be there for the 85th time.
Okay, not so much for me.
In June.
Yeah.
But I
what
mean,
was that you were saying there, Trev?
Yeah.
you put these things together, Vegas, me, and Brewers baseball. Oh, come on. I mean, we got to be there. Now, I'm torn between working from there or going there and just going there as Vegas. I think I'm going to choose Tommy. You're going to have to handle the show, man.
Yeah.
I don't know after those games if I'm going to be in decent shape enough to do a show.
You're up, kiddo.
Where do you stay when you go, Tim?
Try to pick a different place each time. And
really?
I'm running out of places, yeah. So you got to double up, and plus the deals, the comps, wherever you can save some money too. That's part of it. But I, generally speaking, like that mid strip, that 50-yard line area, anywhere from Planet Hollywood to Maybe Harrah's, the Link, Flamingo, the Horseshoe, Paris. Yeah, right in that
right
center
there.
stage. Yeah,
That's exactly where I stay every single time.
Yeah.
I've stayed in other places. This last time we were there, I stayed downtown at Circa for the first time.
Okay,
Awesome pool.
I haven't stayed there before.
It's great, and I don't like downtown. It's not that I don't. I love the Strip, and so, but people didn't come here to listen to us talk about Vegas, did they?
True.
We have to talk about the Brewers. So.
True.
Can't avoid it any longer.
Help me, okay, real quick before we jump in. Josh is going to play the audio clip from Murph over the weekend that talked about Brewers fans being spoiled. I have a quick take on that, and then I want you to talk me off the ledge. Here we go.
Sure.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball, who would have thunk it? 13-12, and we're all like doom and gloom. Feels like we're 3-30, doesn't it? Doesn't it? We're so used to it. We're so spoiled from being so damn competitive.
Tim, I turned 43 less than 2 weeks ago. Nothing about my lifetime as a Brewers baseball fan has felt spoiled to me. Heaven forbid I get a little undies in my undie. I'm not spoiled.
Yeah,
Help me. Help. I can't even talk. Like, Jesus.
This comes down to how you define success. And I think that's really what this is all about. In a manner of speaking, we have expectations that are a little bit higher now. That's a great thing. But that doesn't mean that we still wouldn't want or don't want more. You're always going to want more until you get that ring in baseball, until you get the trophy in football. You're always going to want more. That's just the nature of being a fan. Now, that whole defined success thing is super, super puzzling to me. I'm curious about that all over the board. How does a player define success? How does an organization define success? How does a manager define that success? Is it okay? I don't think he's alluding to the fact that we should be okay, but I could see how some people are going to read that.
So,
and I'll just say one more thing on that. That when he's alluding to that, it's early. That's what he's saying, part and parcel to that statement. He's saying it's early. Wasn't early for the Boston Red Sox over the weekend, was it?
No.
So organizations don't agree with that. We don't have to as fans. It's okay. I'm sure Murph would be fine with that if we disagreed with him. He's just, he's Murph. And so when you say, well, you can't overdo this thing. You can't overreact to this thing. All organizations should temper things down. Hold the phone here. Wait a second. We're 25 games into a season. You can't judge the whole season on 25 games. How dare you? Well, Boston went ahead and judged their season on 25, 30 games.
Yeah, and I think the big thing, it's not necessarily that what he's saying, Tim, is false information. I think that it's just coming from Murph and the way that he's presenting it. It's just been weird to me I go back to him telling the fans he was disappointed in them when they booed.
Mm-hmm.
And that felt really out of place coming from Murph. And then now this with him saying, boy, we're so spoiled.
Cynical.
And I'm going, man, I hated to do it, but I kind of compared him to Doc Rivers there because I was like, what are you doing? Talking to me, focus on your team. Like why are you making the conversation about how the fan base is feeling? You want us to change, focus on getting more wins. I understand that they are above 500. And when you're looking strictly at the numbers, that they're okay. They're not great though. I don't think that the way that the fan base is feeling, which he validated by saying that, is wrong or completely out of left field. It's not where Brewer fans want this team to be.
You can react emotionally the way that you react emotionally to the Green Bay Packers season, to a Bucs season, to a Bucs situation, to a Giannis, to the Brewers offense, to the Brewers injuries, all of those things. I learned a long time ago, just you can't tell people how to feel. You can't do that. And cynically, he was sort of leaning in that direction a little bit. And we're supposed to be okay with a 4-game losing streak. That comes on the heels of a 6-game losing streak. And he's telling us to just chill out a little bit. Now, yes, I get it's a long season, and I do tend, to say that this is a better baseball team than they're showing right now. Clearly, and I firmly believe that. But does that mean that I shouldn't get upset solely because we've been spoiled the last decade or so? I'm not supposed to be upset. I'm not supposed to react negatively in any way, shape, or form. Booing Trevor McGill when he sucked for a while. Accusations of being spoiled. My bar is higher than this. I like it. I like the fact, because I lived through a 26-year playoff drought, I like the fact that they're, perennial playoff team. That is just, we're so not used to playoffs. But in 2007, the organization had only been to the playoffs twice. All the way to 2007. This team was born in 1970.
Yep.
And in 2007, at the end of that season, we look back and we said, wait a second. We haven't been to a World Series title, let alone that. But we have only been to the playoffs 2 times. So, okay, fast forward now, perennial playoff appearances is cool. There's no question about that. And it is a great book to read every summer. It is a great movie to watch on a nightly basis. However, I think that at some point, these expectations have to be higher. It's not okay anymore in Milwaukee Brewers baseball to solely just make the playoffs. That's not good enough anymore. That's coming from me. Now, Murph, he may say, hey, with all our restrictions, our lack of resources, the way the game is played unfairly, the way the economics are structured, he may say that this is the best internally. He may say this is the absolute best we can do, considering the situation. And if that's the case, then there's either a flaw in Murphy and his goals or a flaw in the game itself.
Boy, the fact that you feel that way makes me feel so much better. So thank you, Tim. I really needed that.
But you have to raise the bar. I mean, think about and I have frequently used this as an example, that term championship or bust. I've been accused of that being an unfair statement. That's not fair, Tim, because only one team wins the World Series. Only one team wins the Super Bowl. It's too difficult. All these things got to go right. Do you think the New England Patriots on their run believed that way? There's no chance they did. That was simply Super Bowl or bust. I'm only comparing conceptually, philosophically here. There's nothing wrong with wanting a championship and having that as your goal. And if you don't achieve your goal, all you know is one main thing, that you had that goal and every decision you made was based on that goal. Because if you only say, well, our goal here this year is to be 500. And some people will say, well, that's more realistic, Tim. No. There was a Cleveland Browns coach that came in. I can't remember his name. And he didn't have big success. But his first year, after coming off like a 1 or 2 win season the year before. And I love this guy. He said, our goal is to win the Super Bowl. That's it. He came in as a bottom feeder and made that proclamation. I like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, after the dust settles, and if you don't win the championship, yeah, you can look back and say, you know what? That was a pretty damn fun season. They won 97 games. Came up a little bit short, although I've been accused of that statement alone from someone from the organization. When I said came up a little short in 2025, apparently that was negative. This is coming from the organization.
What?
And I'm like, okay, all right, fine. But that's the reality.
Did.
That's what they did,
Right.
yes. And that's at the end of the day, after you process, damn, we didn't win a World Series again this year. Well, it's always next year. But what a fun season. What a defined success now. I'm air quoting. Define the success. What a Can you insert successful season into there? I think to some degree, guys, you can. To some degree.
Okay, big breath. We're good. He's Tim Allen, Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
It's confusing, and it comes down to this. You guys as fans are defining your own success for the team.
Yeah. That's the truth. So what is causing them to be unsuccessful right now? Can you pin? I mean, we all know relief pitching obviously need to hit better than 152 as a team from over the weekend. But can you dig a little deeper with us, Tim, and help us understand what the problem is right now?
They're losing these tight ball games. I mean, they're 14 and 13.
Yep.
If that back end of the bullpen, Josh, Trevor, if that back end of the bullpen was lights out, and I still think they will be, too much talent with Uribe, Serpa, Grant Anderson. Hopefully Koenig's going to get back. McGill is there. Aaron Ashby is there. Oh, that's a good list of talent. They're better than this. If they were locked down, if the start of the season through the first 25 games, if they were locked down, they'd have 4 additional wins. I'm convinced.
Just going to say, yep. I think 4. I would say the bullpen has probably cost us at least 4 wins.
And that's a big number, folks.
That is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big number. We're all looking at this a little bit different. Add 4 to the loss add 4 to the win total minus 4 to the loss total. Look at that. I mean, they're right there. So it's the back end of the bullpen and the injuries. And the pleasant surprise here, the big surprise, you guys, we talked about this how many times about, this young rotation. There's no more Woody Burns Peralta, boom, boom, and boom. Then you only needed to worry about getting a hot hand in the 4-hole in the 5 spot of the rotation. You just had 1, 2, 3. They were just dynamite for years. We had that concern coming in. Now look at this. The starting rotation is stepping up as a whole. Look at Woody. He's dynamite. Kyle Harrison yesterday was just making me smile about that Caleb Durbin trade. And Mizorowski. Could that be your 1, 2, 3? Well, they're performing, and they are. So that's the bright spot. Injuries, offense, depth. We thought we had depth offensively. That just didn't turn out to be the case, did it, boys? It just didn't. When you're running around Matos and Greg Jones and Blake Perkins out there, no major offense to those guys. But it's a hell of a lot different than having Garrett Mitchell in there every day and having Jackson Churio in there every day and Yelich playing a little bit of the outfield on a breather day and Bowers getting a corner start here and there. That's a whole hell of a lot different. This team needs to get healthy. And quite frankly, you measure the success so far through the 27 games. One might say, despite that, back into the bullpen bad, and the offense really struggling because of injuries, not a horrible situation to be in.
Yeah, but there is another elephant in the room, Tim, that needs to be addressed that I've put off myself for a while. Everyone wants to focus on Joey Ortiz, and he deserves to have focus on him. Let's talk about Sal Frelick. What's going on with Sal, and how loose or tight is that leash?
He's trying to do too much. He's going through it. Remember, surprises in a good way, surprises in a bad way every year. Some players are going to step up and you're going to raise your eyebrows and say, wow, that's cool. Brandon Lockridge. When these guys are healthy, when you have, we'll get back to Frelick in a second here. When you have Jackson Churio, Garrett Mitchell, and Sal Frelick, or a version of Sal Frelick that is productive. Okay. And then Lockridge is your 4 guy. Bowers is your 4.5 because he can play first as well. You are in amazing shape. That's a great surprise is Lockridge. He's a little gamer, man. He's good defensively. He's got wheels. He's stepping up with some big hits. He got a big 2-out, 2-strike, 2 RBI base hit yesterday. That was a huge hit for Lockridge. Okay, so Frelick is one of those guys where, like we said, Lockridge stepped up. Frelick maybe taking a little step back. I think he'll recover. He's too scrappy not to. Is he going to go back to hitting 310 for 4 months? Maybe not. The only thing I think I can say on Frelick is he's trying too hard. And the second step is Dude, you got to put the barrel on the ball. I don't know what to tell you. These little dinkers, man, just duffers on the infield. I would hang out with Bryce Terang a lot if I'm Sal Frelick. Just to getting a hit in his head, because look at the ABs out of Bryce Terang. It is Barrel City. He might be nicknamed Barrel Man, because that ball is hitting barrel after barrel. Even his outs are loud and proud. It's amazing. But Frelick, you got to give him way more time, Josh, before you, especially while they have the injuries.
All right.
He's Tim Allen. We are Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Tim's sticking around for 9 to noon today. So we probably should let you go since you're, just got to do the whole work thing for a while, even though the Brewers are off today. But can I ask you one more?
Sure.
On Friday, we watched a guy throw a perfect game against the Brewers into the 7th inning. And I found myself going, okay, I don't want this to happen against the Brewers. And then in a different breath, and it would be cool to see a perfect game in Major League Baseball. And I've been slightly crucified for that this morning. So here's my take, and I want to know how this lands with you. I absolutely don't want the Brewers to be no hit and or have a perfect game thrown against them. And Major League Baseball has that happen even rarer now because of starting pitchers and their lack of ability, either from their own decision or their coach's decision, not to pitch a complete game. How do you process that?
I can't. I can't. I was rooting for someone to lay down a bunt. I was rooting for a hit by pitch. I was rooting for a walk, an error, anything. Just give me something here. Don't use that as headlines, man. And, you're going to be seeing a lot of Skeens, and we have in his brief career here. I was like, can we jinx it? Jinx it. Hey, Brian Anderson, Jeff Levering, everybody say no hitter. He's got a no hitter going.
He's got perfect game going.
Perfect game going.
There was even a graphic on TV that said he's throwing a perfect game into the 7th.
Good.
They were doing everything in their power. I'm with you, Tim. I told Trevor, I said, listen, I understand what you're saying, but I don't understand how you have both. And not in one game.
Yeah,
I had a lot of friends that I was hanging out with watching that game that felt the same way as Trevor. They were like, we got the hit. Now the game's over. Now it doesn't even matter. I would have loved to have seen him pitch a perfect game. And I was like, against the Brewers? No.
So the answer is no, not against the Brewers, but I still like.
But in that situation, the only way that he could do it was against the Brewers.
Right. And it would be cool to see a perfect game. I agree with you on that, Trevor. But let's see it in a Diamondbacks Mariners game.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That sounds great.
I get it. All right. Tim Allen, stay tuned. He's here from 9 to noon today in place of John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. Oh, you mean Tim Allen can take the seat of 2 people? You're damn right he can. Timmy, always good to see you, bud. We'll talk to you soon.
You got it. Thanks.
Tim Allen joining us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. When we come back, we want to hear from you. What was the highlight of your Wisconsin weekend? Could be sports, could be sporting life, could be an anniversary and a birthday like it was in my house yesterday. I was going to get Tim's suggestion or any advice on my 16-year-old going for his license this afternoon. That is very much at the end of this show. Let us pray. That's happening.
Yeah, I want to talk more about that too.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. How was your weekend, Wisconsin? We're back in a bit, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Yeah, the Brewers snapped a 4-game losing streak yesterday with the win against the Pirates, true. And the Brewers' currently injured outfielder Christian Yelich joins the Mason Crosby show today with Mitch Thunder Nellis. At noon here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, they'll talk about that. And I'm pretty sure a huge event coming up for Yelly, too, there in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. The weekend that was in review, Wisconsin, what was the highlight of your weekend? Sports-related, Brewers, Packers, NFL draft, bowling. What was the highlight of your weekend? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. Josh, the highlight of your weekend.
Yeah, the highlight of my weekend was just getting away. It wasn't actually the bowling of our state bowling weekend. We always kind of joke that the bowling is the worst part. It's just being able to get away. It's essentially a guy's trip somewhere within the state of Wisconsin. This year, it was the Fond du Lac, Oshkosh area. So, that was great, but just getting to get away. We had a great time Friday night. Bowled not well on Saturday, okay on Sunday, but just great group of guys getting to hang out and have a lot of fun. And also just talk a lot of sports, all sports fans. So getting to watch the draft and see Kuhn call the picks and, hear that, and then watch the Brewers almost get shut out completely or perfect gamed, I guess you could say. But it was that was the best part of the weekend, just getting away.
When Kuhn walked out with the Packers quarter zip and the Packers hat, when they introduced all those guys in the khakis, I was like, that's exactly what a Packer fan bobblehead looks like right there.
Oh, yeah.
Just a straight build hat.
Brown shoes, quarter zip, khaki pants. Yep, 100%.
The highlight of my weekend, although surrounded by sports, even got out of the woods yesterday and put some trail cameras back up to see what we can't see until September comes around. It was my 18th wedding anniversary yesterday, and it was our son's 16th birthday, which means this afternoon at 1 o'clock, Rhodey goes to get his license. I have mixed emotions with this, and my wife does too. On one hand, we badly need him to have his license.
Mm-hmm.
The chauffeur game is old. We bought a third vehicle. We could really use his help getting himself to and from school, to and from work, to and from sports or whatever it is. And, we could use his help with his little brother, too, who's in the 8th grade and about to be a freshman in high school with him. That's one. On the other hand, boy, Rhodey's one cocky some gun when it comes to his driving ability, and he's only 16 in one day.
You haven't passed that test yet, bud.
There's a piece of Amanda and I that hopes he gets a little lessons learned today. We don't want him to fail.
Okay.
But we do want him to have a little bit of not as good as this as I thought I was.
So that was going to be my question. Have you or anyone not passed your driver's test the first time you took it?
One of Rhodey's buddies actually recently failed his first go-around. I did not. Amanda did not. She, as in my wife, does not remember how many points she got off. For some reason, do remember I got 1 point off, which is because I wasn't close enough to the curb on my parallel park, which, by the way, pause, they don't even make them do that in the driving test. Yeah, I was pissed.
What?
Yeah,
that was always the hardest part.
Mm-hmm. That was the part that you least look forward to. You're like, God, if I'm going to fail this thing, it's going to be with this stupid parallel park that we're never going to have to do. Now they don't even make them do it in the test anymore.
That is not okay.
Why not? What about you?
I passed the points. My parallel park was okay. I might have lost a point for the parallel park. It wasn't perfect. But then the big one that I remember that I got a point off was I turned on my turn signal, like where we were turning, I don't know, wherever we were driving, and they go turn right, and I turned my turn signal on like 1 second too early to where you could have thought I was turning before I was. And so I got a point or two docked off for that. But otherwise, no, I passed, and that was fine.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. What was the highlight of your weekend here in Wisconsin? Jacob in the van says, we successfully pulled off a surprise birthday party for my father-in-law on Saturday. Nicely done, Jacob. Those aren't easy, especially to keep them a surprise. Josh, has anybody ever thrown you a real legit surprise party of any kind that you absolutely were clueless on?
Partially, yes. So for my 30th birthday, my dirty 30, it was right during COVID. And so it was like any plan of us having a big thing was essentially canceled. And Julie just told me we're going to have a couple of friends over, 2 or 3 friends, and we were going to be outside. And then like one by one, every 20 minutes, another person showed up, and I had no idea. And it ended up, we had a pretty decently big crowd there, and that was cool. Besides that, no, I've never had like a true, hey, we're just going out to, whoa, what's everyone doing? Oh, I never had that.
My 30th birthday party, Amanda pulled off an insane surprise. It was to the point, Josh, where I thought I pissed off all my friends. I was like, how can none of you want to go out to dinner with us for my birthday? Like, this is, I was like,
why does everyone hate me?
Literally, I had a moment. And then we walked into this like bar before we were on our way to dinner with those that actually decided to go to dinner with us. And there was, I don't know, 40-ish people or something like that. And I was like, now it all adds up. Jeez, was I freaked out, though. That sucked. I love surprises for other people. Hate them for me. Hate them.
Really?
Well, listen, I'd like to think I'm aware in life of what's going on around me. And for Amanda to pull that off and me not have a clue, I was troubled.
But didn't it make you feel a ton better knowing that then the work that went into it? That's the whole point of the surprise, is the payoff.
Yeah, just for me and being surprised. You like scaring other people, Josh? You like going and making people?
No, not really.
No? I love it.
Oh.
Especially to my family. Hate it when they do it to me.
Yeah, okay. Maybe they do it to you because you're doing it to them.
That's also valid. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text Line, your weekend in review, Wisconsin. I celebrated my grandmother's 81st birthday and my daughter's 2nd birthday on Saturday. Truly blessed. From Rhino in the 608.
Nice.
414 says, got friends and family together for a tailgate at the Brewer game on Saturday. Had a blast. Andy in Brookfield said the highlight of my weekend was a family day to the baby animal farm and then dinner at the Black Otter with the greatest salad bar of any supper club. The Black Otter is in Hortonville. Andy, am I right on that? I believe, if memory serves me right, they serve you on this salad bar. Meaning you don't have to deal with any of this stuff. What do you want? Yep. They literally put it together for you. There's people, Josh, that tailgate in the parking lot of the Black Otter before it opens on a Friday or Saturday night, just so they're in line.
That's awesome. I love that.
There were some people, the one time we went there with my neighborhood supper club group, there was people there that got there late, that knew they were going to be waiting for a hot minute, ordered a case of beer and had it brought to them, big group, so that they didn't have to worry about going to get beers up at the bar. That is genius.
I'm seeing this one here on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line from the 920 that said, good luck to your son on his driving test. If he is going to Green Bay DMV, I hope he doesn't get no pass Patty. But I'd have to imagine she is retired.
Josh, this is the thing.
No pass Patty is a real
No pass Patty is a real thing. So Rhodey talked to us about it yesterday. He's going to Appleton because we couldn't get him in the day after his birthday in Green Bay. But yeah, there is a literal person in Green Bay at the DMV that is nicknamed No Pass Patty.
Talk about the ump show. Talk about making it about you. You've got a nickname as No Pass Patty? Woof. I'd have to rethink my life. Well, hopefully. So is there any confirmation of if No Pass Patty is still working at the DMV?
The fact that it came up with my 16-year-old son would lead me to believe that somebody in his high school had to go through Green Bay and deal with No Pass Patty.
Man.
The fact that he knew it means it's still a thing today.
I mean, No Pass Patty can't have many friends, right?
You wouldn't think so.
I'm just saying, like, if that's your nickname, if there's a nickname like that from your place of employment, who wants to hang out with No Pass Patty?
Kyle from Green Bay got his first Heat victory race win at the 141 Speedway on Saturday. Well done, Kyle. That's exciting as hell.
There we go.
Bob in Minneapolis is happy the Packers picked up an interior lineman. That was the highlight of his weekend.
You wanted another one, though. You weren't happy with just the one lineman.
No, I wasn't unhappy. I was surprised there was only one. But again, and I do want to do this breakdown tomorrow, Josh. I want to go back to Goody's pre-draft presser and take notes on all the things that he said, which I have done. But now I want to go back and go, all right, how much of that was 100% true, and how much of that was the old subterfuge?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, too, though, more than releasing a player, these decisions from what Goody said to what actually happens are not completely in his control. When we looked at the Rashawn Gary situation and the words he said and then them deciding to trade Rashawn Gary, that to me is different than what he says about the draft and then the picks, because he's got to deal with how the chips fall. He might have that plan and it just might not have been able to go as planned based on other teams that reached or whatever to take his pieces off the board.
When we come back, we'll cross over with Brandon Snide from 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. Today, it's Brandon and our guy, Tim Allen. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and text line. Keep them coming. What was the highlight of your Wisconsin weekend? We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Mornings can all start to feel the same, so if you're looking for a fresh wake-up call, look no further than Wendy's Breakfast. Try a breakfast Baconator with fresh cracked eggs and crispy bacon, a grilled sausage or bacon breakfast burrito, or maybe even a honey buddy, and don't even think about sleeping on Wendy's seasoned potatoes. It doesn't matter what you go for, it's going to change your life, or at least freshen up your morning. If you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, it's got to be Wendy's.
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, reminding you, the Brewers snapped a 4-game losing streak yesterday with the win over the Pirates. And today at noon, the Mason Crosby Show will check in with Brewers outfielder Christian Yelich, who joins the Mason Crosby Show today with Mitch Thunder Nellis at noon on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. We're reviewing the weekend that was in Wisconsin sports and or just in general. 414-677-1250. That's the Nicolay Law talk and text line. We welcome in Brandon Snide from 9 to noon, typically with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. But today, it's Brandon and Tim Allen getting you set for the next 3 hours as you start the week off on a Monday. Brandon, what was the highlight of your Wisconsin sports weekend?
Deny Dennis Sutton was my highlight, Trevor. The Packers able to get him in the 120th selection was, to me, the steal. I know a lot of Packer fans and a lot of national pundits covering the draft are like, well, the Packers didn't do great because they didn't have a ton of picks. Well, they got Micah freaking Parsons, and I'll take him over anyone that was drafted. But for them to get Dennis Sutton in the 4th round was the highlight of my weekend. It's funny because Dane Brugler, who's the author of The Beast over at The Athletic, I'm sure you guys have talked about that or at least looked at it. He had Dennis Sutton as his 60th overall ranked player in the draft, like overall, like completely overall. And the Packers got him at 120. And in his last mock, I should say, he had Dennis Sutton going to the Packers at 52, and they got him at 120. So I thought all weekend, I guess the highlight is just Brian Gutekunst, and I'm a big Goody guy, #Goody guy. I thought he was fantastic in the draft. I think he got value at every single pick. Brandon Cisse was a value pick. He was a top 40 consensus player. The Packers got him at 52. He's immediately your cornerback too. Like there's no doubt about it. And he'll eventually probably be your cornerback 1. You got Chris McClellan in the 3rd round. He's going to come in and play right away. 6 sacks from an interior tackle position, Trevor and Josh. Like, come on.
Especially the 3-4.
In the SEC, by the way. Like, against good players. And then Dennis Sutton, who is clearly my favorite pick of the weekend, back-to-back 8.5 sack seasons at Penn State, in the Big Ten.
So what were your thoughts about the trading of the picks, getting rid of the other pick and then getting rid of the 7th round picks? And
I think
smack.
Yeah, number one, I don't even mind that. I know that's the other thing that fans are like, oh my God, you never draft kickers. Okay, whatever. But you needed to add competition into that room, right? Like Brandon McManus, the last thing we remember is him missing multiple field goals in that game against the Chicago Bears. If he makes 2 of those, makes 1 of them, it's a different outcome for the Packers, and who knows how their season plays out and how it potentially ends. I think Goody was telling you how he felt, Josh, to answer your question about the draft and where it was going in that. And what they did in the undrafted free agent market too, I think speaks volumes. There's draftable grades and guys that they brought in in the undrafted free agent market. So the draft in itself, it really probably ended in the 5th round. Like it just wasn't a good class. It wasn't a deep class.
That's exactly what I said. I said that it seemed like Goody, not that Goody wasn't aware that we needed more bodies, but he went into the draft room, was looking for the box that was labeled additional depth, didn't see it there, so he turned off the lights, closed the door, and left.
Is.
Go ahead, Trevor. I'm convinced that no matter what no matter what Goody or the Packers do, like Packer fans will never be happy.
Are Brewers fans happy right now? I would assume you're going to talk a little Brewers today from 9 to noon with Tim Allen and yours truly.
Oh yeah,
be weird.
We're gonna dive into the Brewers. They shouldn't be happy. If they're happy, I would be concerned because
sounds like a spoiled fan if I've ever heard one.
Oh, play it for Brandon.
Oh, he's got to have heard this.
Brewers baseball, who would have thunk it? 13-12, and we're all like doom and gloom. Feels like we're 3-30, doesn't it? Doesn't it? We're so used to it. We're so spoiled from being so damn competitive.
Dude, are we spoiled? We are not. I'm not well.
I guess that depends on what your definition of spoiled is. I don't think we are spoiled as Brewers fans of going to a couple of postseasons the last handful of years, winning the division. I think that's the standard now. But when you, to Murphy, who made that comment there, decide not to pinch hit Greg Jones for, I don't know, Gary Sanchez on the bench when you had guys in scoring position to potentially win that game, like, I don't know. It's frustrating to begin the year, and I'm throwing the injury excuse. I don't know about you guys, but I'm throwing the injury excuse out of the door for the Brewers. Every team is dealing with injuries. The Cubs have 9 pitchers on the injured list, including their closer and including one of, if not their best starter, in Cade Horton, who's now going to be done for the foreseeable future with the UCL injury. Every team is dealing with injuries. You got to be able to adapt, and they're losing games. The strength of what we thought this team was turned into one of the biggest weaknesses, and it's the bullpen. That's where it's frustrating for me, because it's and defense too. Trevor and Josh, like 2 errors on Saturday. They had an error yesterday. They won, but they're not playing good defense, and those are the things that we didn't think that would be the case, and they are. So to Murphy's point, I would disagree with that. Yeah, we have a right to be frustrated because you're over managing too. Like, just play at this point your best players. I don't need to see Garrett Mitchell because he hasn't hit left-handed pitchers. Guess how you get better by hitting left-handed pitchers? You get an opportunity to face them, and he's not given that opportunity.
Our thanks to Tim Allen for joining us, as he always does on Mondays and Fridays, without a little trip to Vegas here in the near future. I guess he's not going to work when he's in Vegas. Fine, whatever.
We'll see.
It was a fun little Monday recap of the NFL draft, the weekend that was for the Milwaukee Brewers. We're going to do it again tomorrow and the rest of the week, every morning on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. From 6 to 9, it's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. We'll see you tomorrow.
Because we're not done yet.